Shalom, I'm Brother Rael from ReYAHnited Soul, and in this video I'm going to discuss the strategy of patience in warfare and how that relates to us as a people in the times we're living in now. So let us come together in unity that we may reunite with the Most High, the Elohim of Yisrael. This discussion will be different from what I'm used to doing. Maybe you've noticed a change in my introduction. This will be my first video discussion where I use no scriptures. And the reason for this is because I want to reach out to the entire community. There seems to be a movement out there that may be gaining traction due to a video that went viral of our brothers and sisters in armed formation in Georgia. And I feel the need to weigh in on it. Only from a strategic point of view. Let me repeat that. Only from a strategic point of view. This discussion is not about whether I agree or disagree with the leader's view. This movement, whether it succeeds or fails in an armed confrontation, will affect our entire community regardless of your spiritual affiliation. And we cannot let our spiritual differences hinder us from coming together to defend our community, to defend our women and our children. On this, we cannot afford to be divided. Now, let's get right into it. Warfare. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word? Praying, fighting, destruction. How about strategy? Strategy is basically the ticket to victory in any kind of conflict or competition. Without strategy, there's pretty much zero chance of winning. Those who are amateurs of strategy tend not to trouble themselves with strategic details of warfare, especially when they have a ready supply of bodies to throw at their opponent. The amateur of strategy focuses more on the appearance of battle readiness and not necessarily the tedious work that goes with it. The amateur of strategy usually lacks the patience required to study their opponent and find the best method of warfare without exhausting all your resources. The amateur of strategy is eager to lead others into battle without calculating the cost. So, strategy. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that word? Winning? Victory? How about discipline? It's one thing to come up with a winning strategy. Like a coach, for example, he or she may be gifted in the area of strategy, but it's actually up to the players to execute that strategy in the game to have a greater chance for victory. Warfare is like a massive machine that has many moving parts and components that rely on one another. And like any machine, if our parts malfunction or breaks down, it can affect the machine's ability to perform its designed purpose. Strategy is designed to take full advantage of your opponent's weakness and vulnerabilities. Let me repeat that. Strategy is designed to take full advantage of your opponent's weakness and vulnerabilities. For example, drugs have been pumped into our communities for decades. Our people have become addicted and dependent on those drugs. That's a vulnerability that our opponent will exploit to their advantage. As a matter of fact, illegal drugs is a billion-dollar industry. Yes, it's an industry, a very well-organized industry. And so is the war on drugs. And our people are caught right in the middle of those two strategies. But that's a topic for another day. But you get the gist of the strategy. Now we come to patience. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that word? Takes too long? Waiting around doing nothing? How about calculating? Even the best strategies have to be executed at the proper time. Patience is all about knowing when, because timing is everything when it comes to strategy. Whenever windows of opportunities present themselves, you exploit them to your advantage. Like an experienced quarterback effectively reading his opponent's defense and calling an audible to change the play at that line of scrimmage. It's an invaluable tool to be able to read your opponent's strategy position and to counter it before he's able to take corrective measures. I'm not talking about mimicking your opponent's strategy, but to actually counter it by exploiting his weaknesses and vulnerabilities. Now ask yourself the question, are guns your opponent's weakness? No, it's actually their greatest strength. So how is that a good strategy? Bearing arms in a public show of force? That may, in fact, make for a good discussion on social media, but it's not sound strategy. It will definitely get you the attention you may seek, the interviews you may desire, but at what cost? Let's talk about strategy for a moment. Wearing all black in broad daylight in a non-urban environment? As I said earlier, timing is everything when it comes to strategy. Nighttime would have been better for your tactical gear, but I understand getting good pictures would have been difficult at night. So, was this a good photo op or a bad tactical op? If the opposition bothered to show up, you can best believe they would have been wearing tactical camouflage gear, which already put our brothers and sisters at a disadvantage. This nation was forged from the gun. You will meet them on their terms. Your strategy is to confront your opponent's greatest strength. They must have been salivating when they saw that video, licking their chops. That's a very flawed strategy that has no benefit to our people. And if it doesn't benefit our people, then we must ask the question, who does this strategy benefit if not us? Can we talk strategy for a moment? So, who actually benefits the most from this Rambo-style strategy? It benefits gun control advocates. Yes, those who want stricter gun laws and less gun ownership. And I'll admit that it's an excellent strategy for them, but not for us. And I'm not in any way saying that they're behind this movement. What I am saying is that it benefits their cause. Think for a moment. How long have they been fighting to change gun laws without making much progress? For a very long time. What faster way to change gun laws in this nation than to have so-called black people marching in public bearing arms? Now let's revisit history for a moment. It didn't take long for California to change gun laws back in 1967 when the Black Panthers was exercising their Second Amendment rights. Politicians didn't have to argue back and forth with one another to change California gun laws. Seeing armed Black Panthers in the state capitol was all the visual they needed. Let's be very clear. So-called black people marching in public with guns is an excellent strategy for gun control advocates. Very bad strategy for black empowerment. Brothers and sisters, we can't get caught up in strategies that benefit others while we pay the price. By all means, protect what's yours. But don't go out there armed en masse thinking that it's providing you some kind of leverage. This nation has been fighting with the gun since its inception. All they need is a reason. And the day someone calls your bluff is going to be a very unfortunate turn of events that will spill over into our communities. If it doesn't benefit our people in any way, shape, or form, then change your strategy. I'm not attacking any one person. I'm not attacking the movement. What I am doing is scrutinizing the strategy that's being implemented. Think about it. If you cannot defend your own community, you are in no way capable of successfully assaulting someone else's. Let me repeat that. If you cannot defend your own community, you are in no way capable of successfully assaulting someone else's. I'm not saying this as an insult. I'm saying we have work to do in our community. Defending your own community is a very good strategy. I'm all for it. Keep that energy inside the community. Can we talk strategy for a moment? So, should we protect ourselves? Absolutely. That's first and foremost. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your home. And know for certain that the moment you step outside your home, know that you just stepped into a war zone. Times have changed. I don't care where you live or how nice and safe your community may seem. You step outside your home, be ready. Be aware of your surroundings. Teach your family how to stay ready. Stop getting caught off guard with nonsense. If you don't have to be out by yourself, don't be out by yourself. Don't be that soft target they're looking for. Always let someone know where you're going. If something happens to you, at least they'll know where to start looking. Times are changing, family. What you choose to wear when you step outside your home may make the difference of how you return home. Victor or victim. Leave the flip-flops and sandals at home. For my brothers out there, help our sisters and children that may need a little coaching in this area. Let's keep an extra eye open like the warriors of Yehuda that we are. Let's watch after one another when possible. With that being said, always keep your trust in the Most High. Love Him with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. See to it that your household is in line with the word of the Most High as best you can. I thank you for taking the time to watch. Again, I am ReYAH, your reunited soul brother. And with that, I say to you, Shalom.